Inflation in the UK has hit a 40-year high. Consumer prices were up 9% in the 12 months to April. Let's go straight to our correspondent Giles Gibson, who's joining me live from London with more on this. And Giles, take us through some of these numbers.
Well, Ollie, inflation here in the UK hitting 9%, which is really historically high. We haven't seen inflation at this sort of level here in the UK since the 1980s. But economists were expecting to see this sort of a number when this official data came out earlier. And that's because in April, what we saw was the government lifting a price cap on energy prices. So as a result, of course, people's electricity bills, people's gas bills really went up over the last several weeks or so. And that's what economists say is really driving a lot of this inflation here in the UK, although it has to be said that we are also seeing really inflation just across the board. So, you know, everything from food to rent to petrol to diesel, all of that going up as well. Now, the Bank of England has already said just about a month ago that they expect inflation to rise to 10% over the course of this year off the back of the coronavirus crisis, as well as war breaking out in Ukraine. But actually, if you are a low-income family here in the UK, you are effectively already seeing double-digit inflation, already experiencing double-digit inflation. And that's because low-income families, they spend a much larger slice of their income on those energy bills, which, as I was just saying, are now just surging really rapidly here in the UK.
Well, what is the government going to do then? There is increasing pressure, isn't there, on Chancellor Rishi Sunak to take further action of some sort?
Yeah, Ollie, I think what we're seeing is the Labour Party really trying to corner the government on this issue, on the cost of living crisis, as it's being described. At the start of Prime Minister's questions, which have kicked off around about a few minutes ago, we saw Keir Starmer, the leader of the opposition Labour Party, trying to corner Prime Minister Boris Johnson on this issue of a windfall tax. So this idea that you could tax energy companies who are making dramatically higher profits as a result of these surging energy prices. We saw Boris Johnson not really engaging with the question directly. He simply said that he is not in favour of higher taxation. We've seen this tactic as well sort of generally in Parliament from the Labour Party, trying to force votes on some of these issues to get the government on record. So on Tuesday we saw the Labour Party forcing a vote in the House of Commons on that concept of a windfall tax on North Sea energy companies. We saw the government voting that down, and now we're also seeing the Labour Party putting pressure on the government. They're trying to force a vote for there to be an emergency budget. So basically trying to force the Chancellor Rishi Sunak to completely reorganise Britain's finances in the wake of this cost of living crisis. Until now, the government, the Conservatives, have been sort of holding off on taking any immediate action. They've been saying that they've been responding in different ways, but we are now, Ollie, starting to see signs that that pressure is really taking its toll. We've seen Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor, saying that no option is off the table in terms of some sort of action on energy companies. And we also saw Liz Truss, the Foreign Secretary, a very influential member of Boris Johnson's cabinet, saying that as far as she's concerned, she would prefer to see tax cuts rather than some sort of a windfall tax on energy companies.